continuation.
Ooh, cookies. I guess no one will mind if I take a few. Ugh, they're disgusting. Got you, darling.
Your misery brings me joy.
Oh, I know. Everyone loves chocolate, right?
I like where you're going with this.
Alright, get the monster surprise. Alright, hello, welcome back to part 2, everybody. Yeah, so this is gonna be a fun experience. This is surprising because this is not gonna be the only revisited special that's gonna be a two-parter. I know, right? There's gonna be a lot of them that still has a lot to do. Now, it's not gonna be too long, like, say, Haunted Halloween. But it was long enough that if I put it with the other one, it would be like 2 hours, which, you don't want to sit there for 2 hours. Oh yeah, and by the way, Hangover for 45 hours. Dang, girl, that's a lot of Hangover. That's a long time. And for a junk box, are you really are you kidding me? That's garbage. Nah. I mean, that's funny, May, but no, that's stupid. Now, mind you, they actually ended up fixing this, but still, that's gotta be a really bad bender to just go ahead and just have a hangover for almost 2 days. But anyways, yeah, so we got more of this stuff going on here. And it is still interesting how they've changed the prize from last year, the Monster Blood house, into an actual crafting station. It makes sense, by the way. And I guess that makes sense why Dawes' place... It's weird why Dawes' place is now looking like Garbage Town, despite it looking brand new before, but, you know, like changes and different stuff. Ooh, this egg looks delicious and tastes like garbage. Yuck!
His face was priceless, Carly.
Again, we get to see Amazing Jack in action. Here comes Yvonne. You thinking what I'm thinking?
Oh yeah, I have just a prank for her.
Get Monster Delights. Well, okay, fine, but that doesn't really make sense with the context. I thought you would say, oh, get the vampire teeth, because, you know, part of the quest line was him fooling Yvonne to thinking that he's a vampire and that, oh, Nightwing's back. Which, by the way, he is technically back, but... You know, again, it's a story, man. When it comes to the revisited special, you'll notice that things have changed differently. Now, although some of this stuff seems to be... Oh, yeah, 2 of them is just... that's going to be long time garbage. What you'll notice is that when it comes to some of the revisited special, there will be slight changes here and there, but not by a whole lot. However, the biggest of changes as far as dialogue goes is going to come in January. It came from the internet, and the Beast from the East has went through a lot of changes. As you notice with Monster Bloodhouse, this is basically copy and paste from the questline from the Promenade, like once this game came out. However, I think that if this game was to come back, they may change the dialogue slightly to be more akin to be by itself rather than attached to the events per se. Because it sounds like... Oh, and by the way, this was when I finally got access to the book. Because beforehand, you might be wondering, well, how come I can play this book? Well, the thing is, technically I wasn't supposed to. The reason I was able to beforehand was because I had the prize in the crafting area to do it and all the characters. So technically... Yeah, hey! I love it when I buy stuff and the applause come in and go, yay, congratulations, you bought stuff. But yeah, now we're going to continue with this it's same thing, by the way. So we're halfway there, everybody. The Crystal Flasks being the grand prize, which already showed you drops 1 Monster Blood can. So, you know, I guess that's interesting. Not the worst thing in the world. But, certainly would have been better if it had something else, but hey, you know what? You get what you get, I guess. But anyways, we should be continuing.
Hail, Countess. I am ready to do your bidding.
I didn't turn you. Did I? Or are you Nightwing's envy?
Oh yes, he sent me to prank you big time.
You know what's funny about this is that despite this being updated in November, we now know Nightwing is around, so yeah.
Oh yeah, we could do way better than that.
For sure, they've nothing more than a pair of amateurs.
So, who will have the honor of being our next prank recipient?
I know. Let's prank Mrs. Marr. She'll regret making me stay in detention.
Alright, place a novelty shop and obtain some masks. So, again, this was the quest line that would make sense during the, when this game came out back in April of 2020. Now that it came back as an actual special book, the stuff, the douche stuff, doesn't make sense anymore. It's like, oh yeah, now do this. It's like, okay, well, how does that correlate with the story? You know, that's what I mean. It's so weird how they change certain things up. But okay, whatever. I guess let's ignore that. Let's ignore that for now and just continue on with the game as is. And yeah, it's a real shame that this year we have no kind of new content for Goosebumps because, you know, I really do enjoy this, and a lot of people who watch me enjoy it as well. And there is a lot of, and I mean a lot of ideas that was going to go on to within this game. Like, to put it bluntly, depending on what news will come in July, I may or may not share, like, the thought processes of what was going to be kind of throwing in there, what was going to be ideas-wise. But the thing is, too, I might even hold off on that, because depending on, and this is just me talking here, this is no guarantee, so do not take this as fact, this is a grain of salt here. But I honestly think that they have this in mind, that if they're hoping to have this game come back, but there's always the possibility that it's not going to come back. And I think they're also aware of this. And I think, in that case, they may have a backup plan in case that was the case. So basically, maybe a sequel to Goosebumps, sequel to HorrorTown without the Goosebumps property. Which, you know, as we've seen from Match Island, I wouldn't mind that, because, you know, it's spooky. Here's the thing, though, by the way, too. I mean, Goosebumps helps because it's a known property that everyone knows, and the IPs and everything like that, and you can base stuff off of. But the thing is, when it comes to HorrorTown, it's its own weird thing. It's like a hybrid of sorts, and what's interesting about it is that there's a lot of different characters, and some characters were just made up on the spot. So, really, it's just like people just want to play a Halloween game, a town builder, right? A spooky town builder. That every update is like spooky version. So like Christmas but spooky, or like Valentine's Day but Halloween, you know, or when Halloween comes up, it's like a super holiday. Like, people want to have that come in, so maybe we'll have that, but we'll find out in the summer.
Good morning, teacher. I thought about it long and hard and realized you were right, so I wanted to make amends.
Is that Monster's Delight? My favorite dessert. How very kind of you.
Here you go, Mrs. Marr. Enjoy.
Wait. Is this regular broccoli? Ew!
Serves you right, creature teacher.
Ew, vegetables! Oh, yucky, ew.
Alright, we need to up our game. We're going up against professionals here.
I got it. Let's play a joke on HorrorTown's greatest joker.
I just noticed something. Oh, finally we get, like, clown masks. So this makes sense in context of this. But, you know what's funny about this that I've noticed? Isn't it funny how in this game, or in this particular version, when it comes to Evan and their pranks, it's simply just, here, eat this monster blood, this nasty, chemically toy thing, right? And it's like, oh, ew, yucky, nasty, right? And I know Dustin did that kind of thing first, but most of Dustin's and Slappy's pranks are now mostly just, let me pretend to be someone that I'm not and prank monsters, right? And you would think that'd be the same thing. Oh, yeah, and here's the other thing, too. You know, It's interesting how Monster Blood is the April Fool's update. I would totally would have thought that it would be clowns and like a circus, like, you know, like a carnival with Big Al, or the Trapped in the Circus of Doom, or whatever the terror, you know, that one weird book with what is known as Madame Barbosa. What? And then, by the way, I was looking at that, by the way, and I was reading the description of how she looks, and I'm like, man, this sounds like she's like a dominatrix. And I'm like, oh, ooh. What was Stein thinking back then? But, yeah, anyways. A lot of people would probably... I'm curious about this, by the way, too, people who watch this. Are you actually curious, like, if worst comes to worst, if they can't bring back HorrorTown with the IP in hand, if they can do a HorrorTown successor, would you still play it? Would you, like, watch through it? Because, honestly, I feel like some of the ideas we had that was planned for HorrorTown, they may actually just go to the new game, because, you know,
Cousin, long time no see you. It's been so long.
Kiki, is that you?
Of course, it's your favorite cousin. Come to visit you, and I bring Peter for present.
Ooh, I love surprises. Let's see what's inside the box. Ah!
Surprise, Joker! Now the joke's on you!
Impeccable timing, Slappy.
yeah, so the Slappy in the box. This is what they've been to put the Slappy in the box thing, and now it's like Mr. Wood's like, nah, I want to do that now. And, of course, Evan and Andy's just like, well, are you sure? We don't want to be copycats. We want to be our own thing by giving people, just feed them garbage. Oh, yeah, and they got the production pool for another update in the future.
Please, we could do a block break better than that.
Are you sure about this? We usually try to be more original.
Yeah, we don't want to come across as copycats.
Oh, nonsense. Quick, take my hand and put it in this box.
Oh, for me. That's very kind of you, Ev. Ah!
Surprise! It's Mr. Wood, #1 of the Scares neighborhood.
Oh, haha. Very funny.
Hey, Dustin, why are you hanging out with Slappy all day? We miss playing with you.
Yeah, me too. This is starting to get old. Wanna meet in the treehouse? Hey, that sounds fun. We join
Can
you?
we join you?
Again, Andy, why are you participating in this? So, yeah, paste the Mr. Wood and Slappy blocks, right? Yeah, I already got that. Mr. Wood is hiding in the road ground there. What's going on with that? Yeah, man, the item placements, sometimes they overlap at one another. It's so wonky, but whatever. Maybe the new system can change that.
Hey, boy, what are you doing wondering with those outsiders?
They're not outsiders. They're part of the HorrorTown now. And dummies are not welcome at the Many Miseries Club.
It's supposed to be mystery. What is this spelling? It's almost like misery.
You'll regret this, traitor. I'll be your worst nightmare.
I'm getting tired of Slappy. He thinks he's so special. Don't worry, Dustin. I think I have just a prank for him. Oh, you're good. No wonder they call you the world's top #1 prankster.
Hey, get the Slappy mask. My favorite part of the story, where the children mock Slappy, and then Mr. Wood just laughs in the background like, oh, this is brilliant. I love this. It's like, hey, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to let this roll out. This is brilliant. I don't even do I love this, right? It's so weird that they decide to go, yeah, let's make fun of Slappy now, right? It's like, well, what about Mr. Wood? Nah, screw Mr. Wood. He's no longer a part of the picture. And the story just goes all over the place. Also, I will give them credit. I'm glad that Carly Beth is at least a part of this update. Just because a lot of people were like, man, I wanted Carly Beth and I really want, like, you know, digged her. And previously she was like only exclusive to bundles, but because of this update, basically it allowed Carly Beth to actually finally be in the game for 500 Goosebumps, and her shop to be, or the novelty shop to be like 100,000 coins or something like that. So people were able to buy her out, and I know, God, I'm trying to remember what his name was. I remember he used to do, he did the Goosebumps playthrough before it died out, and now he kind of does Disney Magic Kingdom as a whole thing. But I remember the last thing he wanted to do was actually get Monster Blood. Not Monster Blood, get the Carly Beth bundle, and he finally did, and he was happy about that. And the sad part is that, I've seen some people start playing this game, and that's fun and all, but, it's not as active as it used to be, and it's a shame because there's still an active fan base for it. It's just, technical mumble-jumble legal stuff.
Greetings, HorrorTowners! I present to you the Bunny Mask. Looks strikingly similar to someone we all love to hate, doesn't it?
Slappy, I guess you're not so special anymore.
Everyone, get in the mask. Let's flood the streets.
What? Take those off. There's only one Slappy in this town. Not anymore, there's not. These kids are brilliant.
Yeah, here comes my favorite part. Mocking.
Hey, look at me. I'm so evil and manipulative. I am the king of HorrorTown. And I get a power with cheeks and a nose. Well, one of the two.
Fine. If you won't stop that, I'll turn into a giant and stop it myself. I know what Compton Dawes would know too. He's been developing that formula that turns that hamster into a giant burn ball. Time to try it myself and stomp on everyone around here.
Alright, play the old tavern and gain some monster blood. And this is the funny part. The true evil monsters at the end of the day are the children. Oh hey, level 52. Got nothing for it. So, new monsters, my butt. There is no new monsters for level 52. As far as I know at this point during this November 2020 update. But yeah, little kids are real monsters at the end of the day. They don't care. They will, like, a lot of comedians will point this out. They'll be like, they basically tell it as it is. Like, most adults will be like, yeah, we're going to be nice and kind of do stuff. But no, if the kid's like, man, you fat. They're blatant. No filter whatsoever. They'll just say whatever's on their mind. Right? And I should know, because we were all kids at one point. And you have to look back and go, yeah, you know what? I did see that doing it. And then some of you, and be honest, you kids who watch me out there, because I know there are some of you, don't deny, I know this thing attracts you, everybody. But they're like, yeah, I do that all the time. How did you know? It's a secret, But, man, sometimes this whole, me trying to think of conversations while gameplay is going on in the background, right? Again, I still love the fact that Cuddles just runs around and just, big happy furball, as Slappy puts it. And, yeah, I still love it. The fact that kids just mock him. They don't care. And, yeah, this is the thing I was thinking of, too. And I'm just like, what if? And then there's, like, a thing that goes, oh, snap in my mind. What if HorrorTown, but with fairy tales, right? Think about it. Right? You can still get the same thing. It's in public domain, so you can do whatever the hell they want with it. If you want a Slappy, you could just do it with Pinocchio. Like, no, there you go. Look, I already got some ideas for you. and here's the thing too. It's not like fairy tales have never been in a horror setting. There has been lots of examples of people taking like fairy tales and turning it into more spooky, things like Horror Nights. Or Halloween Horror Nights, that they've done their infamous Scary Tales series. Which, by the way, back then it was supposed to be called Terror Tales, except they changed it because this was premiering back in 2001 and 2001. And there was an event that happened back in 2001, which is, ooh boy, But hey, it's what it is. But I think Scary Tales is actually a lot better as a prime. What's this? There's a big trigger and a little trigger. Oh no! We got a little dog and big dog. Look, it's Trigger Junior. It's Trigger Junior, everybody, and there's Trigger Senior. Man, I've seen this happen. I've never seen this happen in this game, but I have seen this happen in Adams. where you would play an animation and then all of a sudden you see a character walking around and you're like, wait a minute, aren't you doing something? You click on them and it's like they're busy and they're like, oh, okay. So I think what happens is the character would always walk around and then they'll end up getting hidden. It's weird. I don't know. It's strange. I'm glad I got that recorded.
Why is the monster blood working?
Maybe because you don't have any blood at all?
Hey, look at me. I would drink some magical blood and wait for a miracle, even though I don't have any actual veins for blood to go to. I'm happy and I think I'm really smart, so don't make me cross.
I do not enjoy being the butt of this joke. This whole town's gonna pay for this.
Uh-oh. This might get real nasty real quick.
You have no idea, Curly.
Haha! I'm loving every minute of this chaos. Time to test my monster blood at a large scale. And wreak havoc everywhere. Gumballs on sale, everybody.
Ooh, give me 2.
No, 6. No, 12.
Baker's dozen.
Alright, peanut butter and the 12-hour monster balls. Monster blood. Monster blood. What was I thinking? You know what it was? Because I'm looking at them, they're like gumballs, so I'm thinking monster balls. Oh, God. 12-hour monster blood gumballs. Jesus. God, what's wrong with me? Anyways, despite that, what was I about to say with that? Oh, yeah, the whole Slappy thing. It's just it's a nod to what's going to happen in July. Ah, that was a mess. But, right, what else was I gonna say about this whole thing? Oh, yeah. I love how, during this update, they brought Compton Dawes into this. Like, brought him back. I love how they developed him as a character, because in the story, he was like, oh, I'm just a realty agent, right? But no, now he's basically the shady kind of businessman who does this, like this chemical, and he's a monster. We don't really see much of his monster form. We see human form, though. But, I love that I gave him a southern accent, and the southern gentleman said, the foghorn, leghorn kind of, that kind of southerner stereotype. But I think it fits this guy so well. The look and everything, right? And I love the fact it comes with a thing called Better Call Dawes. It's like, oh my, the nods, man. This is what I mean, like, I love this game because of how they decided to take a lot of pop culture and mix it in with a property that I ended up growing up with as a kid. But it is a shame that we've gotten to a point now where they're like, Again, I talked about this back in February, but the long and short of it is simply that the agreement that they have now stated that I think some sort of profit margin as far as when it comes to using the licensing went up after 3 years to kind of continue. And the monetary value of supporting with this game with the property doesn't really max up with Pixowl when it comes to profit margins. So it's kind of hard for them. So they're in this limbo where they can't really do anything at the moment. But I digress.
Everyone's dying of size. My monster blood works. It works. Now time to try the opposite effect. Gather round, gather round. Free peanut butter, everybody. I normally wouldn't trust you, Dawes. You can't argue with free peanut butter. Pass the jar.
Is that peanut butter jelly?
Yes, now everyone's ant size. The prank business is going to make me super rich.
Hey, a minute ago everyone seems tiny. Now everyone looks huge. What's going on here?
I think we're changing size. Even Trigger is going from a mastiff to a chihuahua in a matter of seconds.
Wait, these gumballs and peanut butter might be the cause of it all.
You might be right. They look super radioactive. We need to cleanse this whole town.
I love that realization. Vaporizers and the anti-chemical mask. I love how they kind of like, oh my god, this could be poisonous. Let's still eat it anyways. Like, you mean to tell me that something that can change your DNA to make you grow and shrink has something to do with it? Nah, man, nah. I don't know if I ever mentioned this during the Monster Blood thing, but I love the fact that during Monster Blood 3, they had to explain why Evan ended up having his, and I think it was Evan who got affected by this, Evan's clothes grew with him. Because they're like, oh, well, the monster blood spilled on my clothes, too, so they grew as well. So, okay, so that's how it works then, huh? Because let's think about it in real life. Your clothes wouldn't grow with you, right? So they had to explain, oh, well, we can't have this kid be naked and running around because, you know, this is for kids. So, yeah, his clothes grew with him, right? That's the context of it. But real life, that wouldn't have worked that way. I'm just saying. And then I think... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe near the end of Monster Blood 3, he ended up shrinking down, or he had it was like a nightmare of him being small, and then Trigger, like, knowing it's him, is like, oh, he, like, licks him, is like, oh, kisses, but oh, no, he eats me. I don't know, it's very vague, I kind of vaguely remember. Or maybe that has something to do with the nightmare that was, the fourth book that never came out. You know, maybe that was what it is. Maybe I imagined that Monster Blood 4 was a thing. With these weird blue lip looking slug monsters that ended up pretending to be Monster Blood, but blue. Yeah, that's what it was. No. Let's pretend that never existed.
There. No more toxic stuff all around town. Now we can get back to the important stuff.
Oh, look at me. I can't stop talking about how evil I am. I know, right? I'm pure evil. Actually, I'm pure paranoid, but don't tell anybody. I'm not a dummy. You're a dummy.
Stop that! I'm leaving Horrortown now. But I promise, I'll be back.
Did we just hear Slapinator?
I agree, that was the most important stuff.
This is great. Everyone's so into mocking Slappy that I could keep curling out my chemicals unchecked.
Oh, I'm here to check on you, Dawes. And to give you a taste of your own medicine.
Oh, hello, little girl. Are you lost? Here, have some fungu and run along now.
Thank you. Next treatment to my buddy Cuddles here. Now, Cuddles?
Attack! Uh-oh. Guess it's time to relocate my booming chemical business. Ah!
Alright, play the novelty shop and let's play the Monster Blood scene, I think. And then we're done. And then that's the end of this episode. So that was great. That was a great revisited, you know. And yeah, I still love the story and how this was played out. It was so dumb, especially the whole, oh, let's go back to the important stuff and just start mocking Slappy again. That's like, that makes me smile just because of how dumb it was. You know, this whole update, man. You know, and some of the updates, you know, they have a lot of charm to them, but sometimes the way the events worked out was really bad. Like, for example, the Compton Dawes thing, it's like, yeah, I liked it, but it was kind of sucky how that ended up becoming a thing, because I think Compton Dawes as a character was real interesting, and his animations weren't that bad. It was just how everything handled, and the fact that his animations are locked unless you actually get his book to go alongside it, which sucks, by the way. But you know, I guess whatever. I know they also add these other things in here as well. Yeah, currently right now all they do is just give us bundles until then, so at the worst we'll get everything, we'll almost get everything by the end of the year, if worst comes to worst. But you know, I never say never, never say never, ever. Oh boy.
Thank you, citizens. Things are back to normal. Though, I'm not sure what will become of the promenade next. I don't think I can handle another failure.
If you allow me, Mrs. Mayor, I have some thrilling ideas I think you'll love. Let Dawes, Slappy, and Mr. Would be bygones. Now Carly's in town.
Now that statement is true. Back then it wasn't, but now he is in town. I think also they may have changed it, but hey, like that's Dawes and Slappy, and then they add Mr. Wood in there in the last minute. But anyways, if you're curious, this is what he's needed in order to get the prize. Unless, of course, you were like me and you got the prize back in the Welcome to Dead House event, and you'll be like, well, I got it, so, well. I mean, I'm only doing it so I get a little check mark on the book to say, hey, you did it. Technically, I already did do it, but, you know, you can only have one. It's a unique one. And that's the thing. Like, whenever you see anything that says unique, basically means you can only have one of them. Right? So you can't have two of these, you only have one. And, you know, as a prize, I think the chemical flask is not that bad of a prize. Again, I wish it would be a little bit scarier, or at least change it up to kind of make it look, ooh, monster blood, or ooh, spooky. But, you know, whatever. You know, take it I'll take it, you know. It's better than nothing. It's better than, what was previously with there's like a giant egg that had nothing to do with it. You know, just, I digress. Stop complaining. Be happy what you got. Says myself. But, yeah, now it's just basically filling up time and everything like that. And, yeah, just this whole thing here. And, a lot of this just seems to be more or less just fun experience as a whole. Like, man, it's kind of weird looking back at this, and, like, it's almost been, like, almost half a year already, and there's nothing new as far as content goes. So it's kind of sad looking at this. I'm like, oh, man, remember how fun this used to be? Yeah, I know. I remember I covered this. Now I'm just a Pixowl channel, besides Snoopy. And I might make a video discussion talking more about future plans as far as the channel goes, with like what's going on. But I think we're to hold off until I know what's going on as far as this game's concerned. I've been mentioned or told by one of the people who works at Pixowl that he'll keep in touch with me if he hears anything. I'm thinking by the latest, sometime in July, because in order to get a Halloween update ready to go, they have to work on it by August. So that means they have to get everything settled and ready to go by then. If not, then there's a guarantee that it's not coming back. And I think they might be, again, like I said, they know there's a profit in the market for this, so they might just go the way of saying, like, well, we'll just make our own horror town then. We don't need your IP. Well, we'll have our own Match Island, but horror spookiness. We don't need we don't need you. We got Adams. That'll be more than enough. And Adams and Snoopy, that's more than enough. You know. And I have to say, Snoopy has gone for so long, man. And I think partially they ended up, yeah, and I'm getting close to that, by the way. I think part of that also has something to do with the fact that Snoopy's probably, like, they probably did a renegotiation back, I think, in 2019. And the part of the new deal, I think, had something to do with that they had to change the graphics to be more of comic style. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the reason why, too, is because they ended up getting the license change, where it's like, well, they still have rights to the Snoopy stuff, however, that they only have the rights to the comic thing. So anything in the comics they're allowed to do. Anything that's outside of the comics, so like movies and specials, they no longer allowed to use. Basically meaning that one of the characters they did, which was, I think, Dora, I think, or Dorleen, someone like that, which was only like a unique special within a program, she was only available for a certain time. So if you were lucky enough to get her, then congratulations, you got a character that can no longer be made at all, because they no longer have the right to use her. So that's why I was talking about how when it comes to the whole Monster Blood, not Monster Blood, but like the Haunted Halloween stuff, how that's going to work, because I feel like in that case it's like, well, they won't be able to use it unless because they changed the it's weird, right? The whole copyright thing it's weird when it comes to licensing agreements and who's allowed to do what, right? I think I remember even Smurfs Village had this thing where before they had stuff promoting the new movie, which was like the Garden, the Lost Village thing. However, at a certain point, they're like, well, get all the stuff by this point, because after that, we'll no longer be able to use all those items are going to go bye-bye, right? Because they can't have the license to that anymore. So, you know, that is a thing. But, oh yeah, so some time passed. This is January. They finally added this. The Chocolate Bunny Bus now drops an egg. Beforehand, this used to be only like a few characters can do this, but now there's an actual thing that can do it for me. which really irked me because this was like really made me mad because it's like, oh, now I could get something with the egg, so thanks for that, buddy. Oh yeah, and the other thing too, remember the hangover thing? Now it's 45 minutes, not like 45 hours. And it gives me a chocolate egg. So another thing, so that's a lot better. Right? Like, you know, it's so whatever. It's like it took you long enough, but they fixed it. And then of course, this now gives us the peanut butter, the chocolate stall. That was back, like, Easter stuff. There you go, I got that stuff going on here, so. Yeah, so this was happening during January. So it's like 2 months later, this ended up changing. So they added some more stuff, scenes, and all that type of stuff in there. And with that, that's it for the event. Not the event, but the Revisited special. And I would end it off here, but as you know, currently the game is going through what I like to call limbo period. And the sad I call it limbo because technically that's what it is. We don't know what's going on with it. And due to that, the only thing they can do is just give us bundles, right? So they have bundles pre-planned all the way to the end of the year. So, you know, that's the only thing they can do. They know it's touching this game as far as like maybe little maintenance thing here and there. But other than that, it's like they can't do anything with the license. Copyright and blah 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 blah. Hopefully good news soon, but you know, I'm kind of already accepting the fact that maybe this may not come back, but I digress. But you know, that will be for its own video. But for now, let's talk about this thing here. So before I end it off, I want to show this off. During April, there were some, as you know, April was the Easter Fool's month, and they had some bundles going through. And some of these bundles are a mix, like there were 2 bundles, and both of them were mixing both the Bad Hair Day and the Monster Blood stuff together. So now I'm going to show you the bundles in question. So this is going to be the first one right here. As you can see, it's called the Easter Monsters, and this is what came with mine. What's weird about this is that this also came with the Monster Blood crafting station. I don't know why, because you need to still buy the bundle for Monster Blood in order for this to be a thing, but hey, I guess if you want to complete the story without getting the like, if you don't care about the book, then I guess you could do that, but still, it's strange. Also, I try to usually go through my other account to see what goes on there, but unfortunately, there was error when it comes to the, you know, basically, it has to be up to a high percent in order for it to actually show up, so it didn't really show up for me, unfortunately. But anyways, the second bundle was the Cute Rebellion. So this had a lot of other stuff here, too. It's like talking about certain characters and the other characters that were available. And one thing, the reason that you want to point out is that, remember this? Hey, look, it's the Egg Zeppelin. That one thing I complained about back in 2019. When I was like, why is this here? What's this doing here, right? And, you know, because there's nothing else going on. You want to know something? Here's the, this was one of the other bundles. This was the only bundle I was able to show off, by the way, with the other account. So you got to see, these are the characters and stuff that was available. And, as you'll notice that the characters that were shown off here, the other bundle would have the other characters, so just so you know. So this is just the other stuff. But anyways, as I was saying, look at that, I bought it. So why did I buy this? Well, namely, it was just because of the Egg Zeppelin. This. Because it was one of the only items I didn't really have. Because of something dumb. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I want to see what this looks like. I want to see what's drops and all that stuff and more. And, yeah. So I'm going to drop this off over here just to see what this has to do, because I was curious. This was something I've never actually had, and because of that, I was never able to kind of show with Crafting 101 if this item's useful for something. So, as of right now, I'm kind of debating where to put this, and trying to fit it somewhere that, yeah, it's like, no, it's gonna be blocking the bunnies. The cute bunnies I have there, I don't want to do that, so, you know, put it here. So what does this drop me? Oh, nice, it drops me monies. So, I guess that's something. It's still weird that this thing is an Egg Zeppelin. By the way, I ended up finding online that this thing actually exists in real life. I'm not sure to what far extent, but Yeah, and I got these other stuff here too. A lot of this stuff I really don't care about. I mean, the plushies, you know, I'll still get the plushies because I'm so much into this whole cuteness thing. Like, look at this. Look at the little guy. You can't be scared of that. Yeah. Anyways, that's just me being dumb here. But yeah, that's it for the event, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's basically it. So let me know what you think down below. What do you think of this whole Monster Blood thing? Honestly, I think as far as pricing goes, with all the characters and stuff that was available with it, it's certainly not a bad buy. If you've missed the stuff from the previous Welcome to Dead House and stuff like this is a good way to kind of get stuff. And I think you can also get Carly Beth for a good deal as well with this. But I digress. I've been Grim, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye-bye.